What gets measured gets managed, but what gets measured is what's easy to measure. And what's easy to measure is not necessarily what's most important to manage. This is the most succinct way I can think of to describe the measurement bias, a phenomenon in which people tend to overinflate the importance of or over-index on those things which are easy to measure, the quantitative things, often to the exclusion of thinking about those things which are harder to measure but may be more important for the success of a business. I first came across this line of thinking in a book called Weapons of Math Destruction, in which the author details the rise of algorithmic systems and talks about how, as a corollary, things that fit neatly into algorithms would acquire a greater than deserved importance in our society. If you've worked at a consulting firm or worked at a company that's retained a consulting firm, you'll probably know that consulting firms frequently suggest surveys, either customer surveys or employee surveys, as a way to try to tease out those things which are not frequently measured. Things like sentiment or attitude or proxies or indications of a culture. There's a corollary to the measurement bias, which is the incentive problem. And in corporations, this is often expressed through too much faith in KPIs. KPIs are useful, key performance indicators, but relying on them as a perfect measure of the health of the business, I think, is a perfect way to fall prey to the measurement bias. Often businesses will reward X while hoping for Y, because X is much easier to measure and model. I'll leave you with a semi-apocryphal but memorable story about Victorian London, which famously had an awful rat problem. At various points, the government said, we're going to incentivize people to kill rats. So they would pay rat catchers a certain amount of money per rat. So of course, what ended up happening is people did catch rats, but people also started breeding rats in their homes to kill them and turn them in. This is a great example of a cautionary saying to remember when you're setting incentives, which is that you get what you pay for. In this case, the government said, we're going to pay for dead rats. And what they got were dead rats, although not always in the way that they were hoping for.